We're here with Tracy and Dan Paulson and their 3 kids. They have Josie, Tristan, and Cody, and they're all 3 miracle children. Cody's 10, and he was it in Pennsylvania when you lived in Pennsylvania? He had a heart,
Maryland, and Pennsylvania.
A heart condition. And so we're here today, though, to talk about Josie and Tristan. And let's start with Josie's story. She's 7, and can you give us a little bit about her background?
Well, we just adopted Josie at Easter time from Ukraine, and so she was 6 years old when we got her, and she turned 7 in May. And she had some physical problems when we got her. She had her eyes were crossed, and she was very farsighted, so she was crossing her eyes in order to see close up. She could not breathe through her nose at all. Her adenoids were completely covering her nasal passage, and her nose has been broken at some point, and she has a deviated septum. And then she also had her teeth rotting out of her head.
Wow.
So we had a lot of medical things going on.
What was it like the day that you first met her?
Oh, it was really funny because she was just shaking. She was just shaking. She wouldn't look at us. Before we got her eyes fixed, she would not look at you. She would look down. And she was just very excited and very nervous, you could tell. But then she opened up, and we sat down on the floor and did puzzles and things with her. And we could tell she was very bright and was really wanting a mom and a dad.
When you first met, I mean, did you think, wow, we've got some challenges ahead of us and a lot of things we need to do?
Not so much. We found out more, because we didn't realize how bad her teeth were until we got her here. And
yeah.
I should say when we finally got to a place where I could see as I was brushing her teeth better, where the light was, I'm like, ugh, her teeth were really bad. And we knew the eyes wouldn't be a real big deal. We knew people who had that kind of surgery before. We didn't realize the reason, and that was because she was farsighted and she was compensating by crossing her eyes in order to be able to read. And she was already reading and writing, so we knew she could see up close, but it was because she was crossing her eyes.
And what about her developmental challenges? Has she been coming to some therapists here in the Children's Hospital?
She started, did some speech therapy over the summer, and now she's starting in school speech therapy. So we discontinued here at the PD rehab with that, but we are in the process right now to get her evaluated for some occupational therapy. She has problems manipulating small things and is having some impulse issues and things like that. So we're addressing that as we speak, actually.
And you got a Beanie Baby with you, huh, Josie? That is cool. Where did you get that from? Yeah, you can talk if you want. Over there? Yeah. Did you get to pick it out yourself? Yeah? You made a good
And it's a fawn. What's your fawn's name?
Is it Whisper?
Whisper?
He said
Whisper.
Whisper.
That's a good name.
And you're here with Tristan, too. He's 5 years old, and he has had some recent health challenges, too. Can you give us some background on that?
Well, when he was born, he failed the hearing test in his right ear, but then he passed it later, and so we didn't really think anything of it. But he never really talked anything that that we could understand. And it wasn't until he was he was over 3 years old we finally found out for sure he was deaf in his right ear, profoundly deaf. And he also had apraxia of speech, which is another neurological problem that makes it hard for him to speak. And, with being the deaf in that ear, that made it that much harder for him to be able to speak. And so actually it was like right before we moved back here to Illinois that we found out he was deaf and everything. So once we moved here, we were able to get in with the pediatrician, and she sent us to the audiologist, and he got his hearing aid.
And that's when he started talking.
And he started talking and talking.
Has he stopped since?
You can't keep him quiet?
Yeah.
He
like
has
his mother.
He has 4 years. He has 4 years of talking to catch up on, so he's doing a good job.
He's going to get it all in. You know he is.
He went from being about 25% understandable to now where is he at?
Yeah. He's probably 95.
95%? Wow.
To a person who does not know him,
right.
Probably 95%.
You probably understand everything he says, right?
Most of it. There's still some words that he'll say it over and over again, and you still can't figure out what it is because, we have problems with R's and certain letters, combinations. He has problems saying them together. But he's really made a lot of progress, and they've been really pleased with what he's doing now.
And what about Josie? How's she doing now?
She's doing good. We're, like I said, we're working through some impulse issues and things like that. But, we don't know how much of it is because she was in an orphanage that was, her world was so small, and now it's so huge, and she's kind of overwhelmed, I think.
I would think so, yeah.
And, but she's kind of the opposite of a child that's autistic shuts down when they're over, stimulated. But with her, she kind of bounces off the walls. And it's like there's too much for her to take in, and she needs to be able to take it all in. She doesn't want to miss anything. And that's just, I think part of that is her personality, and then part of it's the fact that she came from such a small place to here. There's just so much.
What was that like? I mean, after you had the challenges already with 2 children, and then you had challenges again with the third, I mean, did you just think to yourself, boy, we just can't buy a break here? I mean, what was that like?
Well, there are days that are overwhelming, but you learn to push on and
Well, I say that having the problems with Tristan prepared me for the problems we've had
made
with
it a lot
Josie.
easier with her.
I knew exactly what I needed to do, what I needed to do with school to get her services, and what I needed to do with the pediatrician and to get her taken care of. So we had to do a lot of fighting with Tristan, with the school district, with different things, and so it made it a little bit easier with her because I know what I'm supposed to do. I know what I need to do in order to get her what she needs.
You have a support system of friends and family and the doctors and
church
nurses and
family.
church family.
Yeah. In our family, we moved here to be closer to our families because our parents both live between 2.5 and 3 hours away now. So
3 kids too. You guys need all the help you can get, right?
yeah, definitely.
And you've experienced a lot of facets of this hospital.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just
yeah.
been various doctors and
Lots
nurses.
of different doctors and nurses and departments. And
Yeah.
Probably give a tour, right?
Probably for part of
For
it, yeah.
each child, all the different areas that you've become familiar with.
that's
So,
true.
a lot of the therapists you've gotten familiar with. Is there anybody in particular?
Well, Tristan had Miss Susan, and for speech therapy, and Josie had Miss Diana, and then she's also had Miss Julie for the occupational therapy, and Miss Rachel, who is the one who works the desk in there, is just completely awesome. And we just really fell in love with everybody who was there. You can tell they really care about the kids, and they want them to do
They
well
do.
and to succeed. And,
That's what we hear over and over again from every family.
Yeah.
Josie, do you like coming to therapy?
Yep.
Yeah.
What about you, Tristan? Do you like coming to therapy?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's all a big game.
Yeah, that's
know?
amazing that kids really aren't scared to come to the hospital over and over again. That's wonderful.
Well, moreover, we even hear it that sometimes they can't wait to come
love
here.
it.
And
Oh,
yeah. It's just
They have games here that we don't have at home.
Oh,
They get
that's
to
it.
play because
Yeah.
they get to play games when they
Make
say
it
their
fun
words
for the kids, so
correctly.
they
Yeah.
want to come.
Yeah.
I saw that ball pit in the therapy room, and
yeah.
I wanted to jump in it.
Maybe we should try to talk our way into there at some point during the radiothon because
We
it
might
does
as
look
well.
like fun.
Yeah.
I mean, why
Get away
can't
from
we?
this table for a while.
A little bit of fun. So. Well, listen, thanks for being on. You're very brave parents to
You
have
are.
these 3 challenges that you have met so well as parents. So
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
you're welcome.